Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 18th Annual Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame Induction Banquet. I don't know about you, but it seems like just yesterday this organization was formed, and here we are 18 years later. What a ride we've had. We have been excited to death about tonight's presentation and the induction of the class of 2013. And we will proceed in a very orderly manner, having a little fun along the way. We have an outstanding evening planned for your enjoyment. If you will please rise for the posting of our nation's colors, the playing of the national anthem, and please remain standing as the colors are retired to your right. If you'll please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. It is our great pleasure at this point in time to introduce to you, excuse me, the class of 2013. Each inductee will be escorted by a cheerleader from Columbus State University, representing her grandfather, the late Willie Bowman, Willie's granddaughter, LaToya Richardson. School and Auburn University, class of 2013 inductee, Colbert. From Columbus High School and the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, class of 2013 inductee Jolie Dunn. From Georgia Southern University, class of 2013 inductee Charles Ragsdale. From South Girard High School and Alabama A&M University, class of 2013 inductee Eugene White. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will kindly refer to the program on the table before you, you'll note that we'll begin shortly with the invocation, followed by dinner, and following dinner we'll recognize various notables in the audience, past year inductees, and then of course the highlight of the evening, the induction of the class of 2013. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the pastor of First Baptist Church, Columbus, Georgia, for our invocation, Dr. Jimmy Elder. Will you please welcome Dr. Elder to the podium?
Still no cheerleader. This is always an exciting evening because we celebrate so much accomplishment and so much influence and so much life that has been well lived and an example that's well given. And in every life here we remember the uniqueness of God's creative power and how He brings to life a being, and then out of that being He brings good into the world if they'll just do what He wants them to do. So what we celebrate not only is the accomplishment, but also the giver of the good gifts. Would you bow with me as we pray? Lord, I thank you. You've given us a world that is absolutely wonderful. There are times that we worry about it, and we come to you and we ask for your help. But when we really stand back and look at it, we realize that in the nation where we live, in the community that is ours, and with the people that we get to meet and know, that this is really an incredible place to be. And we sense your presence and we sense your hand in all things. From the food on the table to the fellowship around the tables to the people whom we celebrate tonight. So as we celebrate accomplishment, remind us that you're the giver of the gifts that make that possible. And as we observe the accomplishments, help us to allow that to be an inspiration for our lives, and may we show gratitude to those who have lived their lives well. And then as the inspiration soaks into our own souls, may we bless others with the gifts you've given to us. May we take nothing for granted. May we always honor you. And may we always be aware of the ones around us who make stellar gifts to life. And may we allow that to inspire life and to make the world a better place. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause to enjoy dinner. It's about 7:15 or so. We will reconvene at 7:45. So enjoy dinner, and we'll look forward to the remaining portions of the program. Again, we welcome you to this special occasion where we will recognize those who have contributed to sports from the Chattahoochee Valley. However, before we recognize and honor the class of 2013, we want to recognize some of the special guests that are in our audience tonight. First of all, I'd like to express my appreciation to the Ledger-Enquirer newspaper. I have never seen such wonderful stories day after day after day, and they really did an excellent job in providing the biography of all of our inductees. Of particular, I'd like for you to, Kevin Price is a sports editor down there at the newspaper, and he was ably assisted by writers Kathy Gearer, David Mitchell, Mark Rice, and Aaron Brenner. Kathy is in the audience at table number 50, and I'd like to ask her just to stand and you all show her that warm round of applause and appreciation for what the Ledger-Enquirer has done. Kathy, stand up. Again, I must say a big thanks to WRBL TV3 and Phil Scoggins and Jonathan Husky for their support and coverage of the Hall of Fame induction banquet this year, as well as WTVM's Dave Platter. As I mentioned, Phil Scoggins is the key behind putting together the videos that you will see very shortly. Robbie Ross back in the corner with the sound board, the light board, and so forth, and Stan Plymel, our photographer, or our able-bodied support team, and we appreciate what they do for us as well. Tonight we're pleased to have representatives of the Auburn University Athletic Department with us. Among others, they are Rusty and Sally Dean, David and Teresa Brown, Randy Walls, Kathy Howard, Sam Oates, Matt Citron, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and Ed and Lynn Graham. Folks, we appreciate the fine support from Auburn University and your presence here tonight. We're also pleased to have with us representation from Columbus State University Athletic Department. We have Jay Sparks with us, who is the athletic director, and we welcome you, Jay, and the athletic department group that are with you tonight. With us as well, and representing the Columbus Lions indoor football team, as well as the Benning Doughboys, that's a name out of the past, Benning Doughboys, are the owners, John Hargrove and Duke Libertor, head coach Jason Gibson, general manager Scott Lanata, along with players Justin Rivers, Gerald Gales, and Bo Bingham. We appreciate all of you folks being with us, and I would advise all of you that there's a resurgence of Doughboy football occurring at Doughboy Stadium at Fort Benning, and it's my understanding that in October the Doughboys will play the CSU club football team. So you want to keep that in mind as we go forward. We're grateful as well for various dignitaries in the audience. From the city of Smiths, Alabama, we have Mayor LaFay Dellinger. LaFay, I know you're here. Stand up wherever you are. Thank you for being with us this evening. Some 17 years ago, a group of local sports enthusiasts gathered to consider how we might recognize and honor those who had contributed to sports from the Chattahoochee Valley. After a series of meetings, we formed a 501c3 corporation and began meeting and developing biographical sketches of potential candidates. As we speak tonight, we have inducted 87 individuals into our Hall of Fame, and we have a list of 73 candidates for consideration. So the future looks bright. The Hall of Fame has work to do as we move into the future, and if you know of a candidate that you think might be worthy of induction into the Hall of Fame, you can simply write us a letter. Our address is shown on the program, and give us a bit of biographical sketch of your chosen individual, and we'll be glad to add him or her to our list. If you're a committee member, and I know there's some of them here tonight, both the selection committee as well as board members of the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame, could I ask you to please stand up and be recognized? If you're a member of the selection committee or the board. Thanks to all of you for your hard work in helping us achieve our desired results. We're always pleased and gratified to have a number of our past year inductees present with us for this event, and tonight's no exception. I'd like to introduce some of them, and I might make a comment or two about some of them. From the class of 1997, representing his father, B.F. Register, is his son, Lieutenant General retired Ben Register. General Register, if you will kindly stand and remain standing for a little while. From the class of 1999, we have that amateur golfer of great renown, Mr. Billy Key. Billy, will you please stand? I know you're here. There he is. From the class of 2000, Coach Frank Sonny Clements. I know the coach is here. There he is. Again, from the class of 2000, Jack Key Jr. Jack, you're here. I think George McCluskey is here. I'm not sure. From the class of 2002, George McCluskey Jr., maybe he didn't make it. From the class of 2003, Bill Plager, another outstanding amateur golfer. From the class of 2004, Wallace Davis. From the class of 2004, DJ Jones. DJ, I think I saw you. There you are. From the class of 2008, James Patrick. James, I know, is here. There he is. From the class of 2009, Larry Gaither. There's Larry. From the class of 2011, Champ Baker. From the class of 2011, Joe Harrell. Joe, you're here somewhere. And from the class of 2011, Ron Yarborough. There's Ron. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to honor our class of 2013 inductees. Our first inductee originated the phrase, "Goody, goody peanuts," becoming the trademark phrase in Columbus and the surrounding areas. He received the Game Support Employee of the Year Award in 1991 from the Columbus Indians Baseball Club. He received the Years of Service Award in professional baseball from the Columbus Red Sticks Baseball Club. He was honored in 2002 with a Goody Goody Peanut Man bobblehead. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Willie Bowman was born in 1935 on 3rd Avenue in Columbus, not far from Golden Park, where he would become an icon. Local sports writer Kathy Gear fondly remembers her special friend.
He was larger than life. Part of it was the booming voice.
Programs!
Kathy Gear worked with Willie Bowman for almost 30 years, most of that time at Golden Park during the years of the Astros and Red Sticks. Kathy handled the press box duties, Willie moved the merchandise.
He could sell anything from a bag of peanuts to a program to an idea. You know, Willie did a lot of different things, not just the peanuts and the programs. He was the clubby for a while, and you should have seen him and the players. He ran a very tight ship, and he just had them definitely in line.
Bob Page grew up in Phoenix City and spent several summers selling peanuts at Golden Park, and he was taught by the master.
He said, you know how to sell peanuts? I said, I've watched you. He said, well, you'll be all right. And he walked me all over this ballpark and he told me how to sell peanuts. He said, this is what you do. You don't throw them at people. Only I do that.
Willie was such a local sports icon, he had his own bobblehead night at Golden Park in the early 2000s.
There was a crowd, a lineup waiting to get in that night to get the bobbleheads. I still have one. It's on the shelf in my office, and so I literally pass by Willie every day and think of him every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to posthumously induct Willie Bowman.
Ladies and gentlemen, accepting for the late Willie Bowman, his granddaughter, LaToya Richardson.
Who can say that they have their own bobblehead? I have one of those at home still. If my grandfather was here today, he would, without a doubt, say that this is one of the proudest moments of his life. They always say if you're going to do anything, you might as well be the best at it, right? Well, oh my goodness, I had this long speech, and now watching that video, my heart's kind of tugging right now. I'm very honored to stand here today and to, in his place as he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's nice to know that you all took the time to recognize somebody that wasn't on the field, that wasn't the shortstop, wasn't the pitcher, but somebody that contributed to the team in a different way, in his own way. My family is very proud of him and his accomplishments, and filled with so much love for him right now. You know, whenever you go to the park, one thing that always stays the same is that he's always going to be there. You could always count on that 6'3" man with that gray and black salt and pepper hair and that red t-shirt and that ball cap. You could always count on him being there. No matter what the team name was at the time, whether it was the Astros or the Red Sticks, you could always count on him being there, just like he's here tonight. So on behalf of the Richardson and Bowman family, I would like to say thank you.
Thank you, LaToya, and congratulations to the Bowman family and the Richardson family as well. I need to correct an error of mine, a gross error. I looked out there and I thought I had spotted all the past year inductees, and I failed to spot Thermos Butler, and I apologize, Thermos, wherever you're seated. So if you wouldn't mind standing up, let's give him a round of applause. Our next inductee was the 1985 Auburn University football team captain. He was the first All-American punter in Auburn football history. He was a 1985 All-American as selected by Kodak and Sporting News. He's a member of the Auburn Team of the Century, that is, the first 100 years of Auburn football. He was selected in 1986 to the National Football League All-Rookie Team. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Lewis Colbert was a pitcher on the Glenwood Gators state championship baseball team. A shoulder injury forced him to turn to football, where he averaged over 42 yards a punt his senior year and made the all-state team. That caught the attention of Auburn head football coach Pat Dye, who invited Colbert to try out as a punter for the Tigers. Lewis made the most of the opportunity, winning the role of starter in 1982, a position he held all 4 years at Auburn. In 1985, Colbert was named team captain. He had a stellar senior season, averaging just under 46 yards per punt, which was an Auburn record. Against Southwest Louisiana, Colbert unleashed a 77-yard punt. His punting prowess landed him in the national spotlight. He made the Kodak and Sporting News All-America teams, becoming the Tigers' first All-American punter. Colbert's name still ranks at the top for most punting yards in a career with 10,179. He ranks second all-time at Auburn in career punting average. Those numbers also made him an obvious selection for Auburn's team of the century. The pros came calling after Colbert's graduation from Auburn. He was selected in the 8th round of the 1986 NFL Draft by the Kansas City Chiefs. Colbert wrestled the starting job away from veteran Jim Arnold. Colbert finished his first season in the pros with a 40.7-yard punting average, which ranked 7th in the AFC. He was particularly adept at landing the ball inside the 20-yard line, which he did 23 times his rookie season. For his efforts, Colbert was named to the 1986 NFL All-Star Rookie Team. He returned for a second season with the Chiefs in 1987, averaging just under 38 yards per punt. A back injury would cause Colbert to end his pro career prematurely. Colbert's remarkable desire and determination are chronicled in a biography which he co-wrote called The Unlikeliest Auburn Tiger. Colbert has also established a scholarship fund at Auburn to help student athletes with disabilities attend the university. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Lewis Colbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2013 Hall of Famer Lewis Colbert.
Wow. You know, I actually spent a lot of effort in thinking about how could I express myself today of being inducted into a Hall of Fame. I couldn't come up with anything. The feeling is remarkable. It's humbling. It's an honor to me for someone that was given less than a 10% chance that I'd ever walk. I was born with a severe handicap, and my right leg stopped at the ankle when I was born. So for this idea of even playing sports was something that was really not in the cards. But through determination and a lot of good people, and I want to start by thanking my wife, Casey, for 26 years, my mom, my brother, my kids, Jason and Taylor, my father-in-law, Wallace. Thank you so much for the years and everything that you've done for me. My coaches, wow, where do I begin? I was so fortunate that I had a coach to take a chance on me punting a football in high school and most people would not have. I only played 1 year, and that was my senior year. Coach Sammy Howard, Coach L. Edmonds, Coach Leo Ellerby. They couldn't be here tonight, but I'm still saying thank you for everything you did for me. Coach Pat Dye, you know, it still is a remarkable feeling to even think that I even played for Auburn University. You guys back there in the back, Rusty, Sally, Ed, you know, thank you guys so much for coming tonight for a night that I never thought would happen. You know, my friends, my childhood friends, and the people that kept me out of trouble and doing the things I shouldn't do. You know, Dennis, Phil, Steve, thanks guys for being there. Auburn Alumni Association, thank you so much for helping promote my book this past year. Sharon, thank you so much. George, Rich, I don't know where you're sitting, guys, but these guys were instrumental in helping me get that book completed and out. And what a book that is making a difference in young kids' lives. It feels so good to be able to give back and make a difference in lives, and you guys are an integral part of that. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's some other people that are not here that actually touched some things in me at Auburn. Al Del Greco, he was my roommate for a while. I learned how to be consistent in my punting from him. Greg Carr actually helped me in an instrumental way and an inspirational way of trying to make grades. That was kind of tough, though. But, just aspiring to have a mind like that helped me stay eligible at Auburn University, and I love those guys. Bo Jackson, a fellow team captain. I felt like, I couldn't let that guy down when I went on the field. To see that guy work so hard, and we come up short sometimes, it was my time to help the team, and I feel like most times than not that I did, and that was motivated by being able to come back to the sideline and putting our team in a better position to win a football game. Bert and Pam Carroll, thank you guys for everything that you've done. It means a lot. Friends for over 25 years. Thank you so much. To the selection committee and the board, Jim, never in a million years would I thought I'd have been standing here. Thank you guys for the consideration and voting me in. It is something I'll treasure forever. I tried to rank us on the list of accomplishments, and there's one thing that stood out in my athletic career. And when I ask people what they think that might be, a lot of people say, making All-American or making Team of the Century. And that wasn't it. It was being voted team captain by my coaches and my teammates, being a punter. This is right there with it. And I will treasure it forever. There's some friends that have come tonight, Lisa, Bill Shable, Johnny Wilson. I appreciate y'all coming and being a part of this. This doesn't happen every day, especially for a one-legged punter. I thank you so much. I appreciate everything, and God bless you. He's the person that's driven every bit of this and has made this possible, as I try to relate in my book about the faith and what God has done in my life. And I just can't express it and do it justice. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Lewis, for those meaningful words, and congratulations to you and the Colbert family. Our next inductee was the head coach at the University of New Mexico, 1983 to 1986, defeating BYU among many other highly ranked football teams. In 1997, while coaching at Mississippi State University, he shut out Auburn 20-0 at Auburn. He was a finalist for the Top Assistant Coach Award, that is the Frank Broyles Award, is given by the NCAA. He led the nation in total defense as coach at 3 different schools. As defensive coordinator at Mississippi State University, his team successfully beat Alabama. He coached in SEC championship games with 2 different schools, and he received the Life Achievement Award as presented by the American Football Coaches Association. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Joe Lee Dunn was a 3-sport letterman at Columbus High School in the early 60s. He played quarterback for the Blue Devils, leading the team to the Bi-City Championship in 62 and 63. As a senior, he was named High School All-American and voted the most outstanding football player in the state of Georgia. Dunn signed a football grant in aid with the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, where he was a 3-year starter. He graduated with a math education degree in 1968. Dunn coached high school football for several years before returning to UT Chattanooga in 1971 as a defensive secondary coach. That move launched his remarkable college football coaching career. 2 of his final 3 years with the Moccasins, his defense led the Southern Conference in total defense. After 8 years at UTC, Dunn became the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque in 1979. 3 years later, he became the head coach at New Mexico. In his second season at the helm, his team led the Western Athletic Conference in total defense. One of his landmark wins was over BYU. Dunn would head back east in 1986 to become assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the University of South Carolina. In 1987, the Gamecocks defense was ranked in the top 5 in the country in all major defensive categories. Up next was a stint at Memphis State, where he served as defensive coordinator for 2 years. From there, it was on to Ole Miss, where again he called the shots on the defensive side of the ball. In 1994, he became the interim head coach for the Rebels. From Oxford, Dunn was hired to be the defensive coordinator at Arkansas. In 1995, he helped lead the Razorbacks to the SEC Western Division title. From 1996 to 2002, Dunn made his home in Starkville as defensive coordinator for Mississippi State. His defense racked up some incredible statistics. They were ranked number 1 in the country in rushing defense and total defense in 1999. Dunn was a finalist for the Frank Broyles Award, which goes to the nation's top assistant coach. Dunn returned to familiar territory in 2003, becoming the defensive coordinator at the University of Memphis. In his first of 3 seasons with the Tigers, his defense was ranked in the top 10 in total defense in the country. The 2008 season, Dunn spent as defensive coordinator at New Mexico State. From there, it was on to McMurray University in Abilene, Texas, where he currently serves as their defensive coordinator. Last year, Dunn was presented the Life Achievement Award by the American Football Coaches Association. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Joe Lee Dunn.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2013 Hall of Famer, Joe Lee Dunn.
Thank you. I'm not very good at making speeches and all that. I'm pretty good at talking to kids, so maybe. But anyway, getting an award for playing football, life couldn't get any better. So thank you all for voting me into the Hall of Fame. I'm honored beyond words. I didn't do all this stuff and everything. These 2 people right here at this table did it for me because they showed me how to do everything. And my mom and dad, y'all stand up and let everybody see you. Thank you. They kept me alive. So the old man dove into the, I guess the ocean or something, down in Panama City in Destin, Florida, and ended up pulling me out of the water, and or I would have drowned. And then I also got run over by a car, and they took me to the hospital in a hurry. So. But anyway, they're the ones that are responsible for it. And the other people there at the table are my sisters and my daughters, and the one person that has given me to go hard and do whatever you can do in football and all that kind of stuff is my wife, Susie Dunn. And she probably is a better coach than I am. And I'm serious. I mean, so because you can hear her up in the stands when you holler, and it's amazing how much that you know from her from the stands. And so but anyway, that's I really don't know a whole heck of a lot and everything, but she's a member of the Sparks family, and I think y'all all know who the Sparks are, and I know. And one other thing that I'm not going to stay up here long, okay, because they told me that I didn't have but 10 minutes, and so I'm going to make them less than 10 minutes. So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you for voting for me and everything, and so hopefully I'll be around here from now on. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jolie Dunn and the Dunn family as well. Our next inductee won 300 games in the 1970s, the fifth best by a Division II program in the nation. Won 4 conference championships, the Southern States once and South Atlantic 3 times. Was a 4-time South Atlantic League Coach of the Year. Was a coach of the first Columbus State University baseball team to reach the College World Series. The Columbus State University baseball field is named in his honor, Ragsdale Field. He's a member of the first CSU Hall of Fame. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Charles Ragsdale received his bachelor's and master's degree in health, physical education, and recreation from Georgia Southern College in the early 1960s. Most of his teaching and coaching career was spent at Columbus College. He joined their staff in 1965 as tennis coach, assistant basketball coach, and director of intramural athletics. Over the next 5 years, Coach Ragsdale's tennis teams made their mark, capturing the Georgia Junior College Conference Championship in the 1966-67 season. They also climbed as high as 12th in the national rankings. Coach Ragsdale was named the head baseball coach at Columbus College in 1970. Year the school started its senior college baseball program. His duties also included supervising the construction of the baseball field. In his inaugural season, his team posted a record of 26 wins against only 9 losses. Coach Ragsdale's teams wasted no time establishing themselves as a power to be reckoned with in the conference. Columbus College won the Southern States Conference Championship in 1971. Coach Ragsdale's teams captured 3 South Atlantic Conference titles. Ragsdale was named the South Atlantic Conference Coach of the Year 4 times. His 1984 team was the first one in school history to reach the NCAA Division II College World Series. Coach Ragsdale retired from coaching following that 1984 season after 15 years at the helm. He finished with a record of 466 victories, 270 losses, and 5 ties. Ragsdale didn't shy away from scheduling Division I baseball teams either. Columbus College regularly played opponents such as Georgia, Auburn, Clemson, Vanderbilt, and a host of northern schools who headed south early in the season. Coach Ragsdale's legacy lives on now at Columbus State University. The baseball field is named in his honor. He was also among the first class inducted into the Columbus State University Athletic Hall of Fame in 1996. That's the same year Ragsdale retired from CSU. His last 13 years, he served as the chair of the Department of Physical Education and Leisure Management. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Charles Ragsdale.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2013 Hall of Famer, Charles Ragsdale.
I'm going to take up the rest of his time. Is it okay? A friend of mine tonight told me to introduce the opening line as something like this. Thank God that I don't get what I deserve, but only grace and mercy. And that's exactly what it is. When Jim called me a few months back and said I'd been nominated for this award, I said, who in the world in their right mind would nominate me? He said, some fool did. But I thank that fool tonight for doing so. Really and truly, it is a great honor. The honor at CSU was a great honor. I remember when I asked my wife, Beverly, to marry me at Georgia Southern. I actually got down on one knee. And I said, let me tell you what the life of a coach is going to be. Jolie, you know this. I said, there's going to be times when you need me there, but I won't be there. There's going to be times when I need to be with my kids, our kids, but I won't be there. And I hope you understand. So before you say yes, you need to understand these conditions. And she thought for a moment, another moment, a long time. I was kind of getting worried. But she said, I'll try it. And so for the last 51 years, we've tried it, and it seemed to have worked. Table 4 over here, part of my family, my wife Beverly and my 2 children, Greg and Susan. And Greg's kids, Kylie, Grayson, and Holland. Greg's wife, Hope. And my daughter, Susan, and her 2 kids, Kylie and Carson. And somewhere I got Tracy. I don't know where he is, but Tracy is Susan's husband. And let me tell you a story. Susan came home one day and she said, you know, I think I'm going to get married. And I said, to whom? And she said, Tracy Powell. I said, what does he do? She said, he's a baseball coach. I said, how long have I got to tell you that you don't need to marry baseball coaches? Look at me. But she did, and they've been happy ever since. Sometimes sometimes they're overused and underused. But I think this is a moment where thanks really, it's really important. And I want to do that tonight because I want to give credit for those who have been with me for all these years. I've thanked my wife and my family and my children, my grandchildren, no doubt. But there's a couple in the audience tonight, and I'm going to miss somebody, so forgive me. But Sonny Clements hired me in 1965 from South Georgia College. I was a graduate assistant at Georgia Southern, and a friend of mine went to South Georgia. He hired me. And he told me in 1964, now this is my story and I'm sticking to it, Sonny. He told me in 1964 that Sonny wanted to hire somebody and wanted to hire me, but the Board of Regents wouldn't give him enough money. And so whatever money they had, Sonny said, I'll just divide between me and Mary Blackman. So in 1964, I didn't get the job. He got the money. But in 1965, I did. And Coach, I want to thank you for that. I don't think we've ever had a disagreement in our tenure. It was Sonny and Mary V. Blackman and myself. There were 4 buildings on the campus at Columbus College in 1965. If you get a chance, ride by and see it now. Wonderful university. Great leadership in the past and present. There are some friends in the audience also that I want to mention. And if you'll humor me a little bit, I would like for the former baseball players in the audience, if you'll allow me, for them to please stand. Most of these are from the 1970 baseball team. Don't they look good? I also want to thank Charlie and Carol Gately for coming, and Dan and Debbie Trotter for coming. I think Miss Whiston, my high school teacher, may be here. There are some others that I can't see. I can't see anyway, but anyway. But I want to thank all of you for coming. This is a great honor. The recipients up here, I honor you. Y'all are all great people. I read your resumes. I don't deserve to be here, but I'm here, and I'm going to take it, go home with it. And the last thing I want to leave you with is this. A long time ago, I pledged something. And I don't know about y'all, but I love the book of Joshua. And I remember Joshua said that as far as me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Thank you very much. I missed one. Robert Austin is here, and I appreciate him and his wife coming. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Charles Ragsdale, and the Ragsdale family as well. Our next inductee was a leading scorer while at Alabama A&M University. He was selected to Outstanding College Athletes of America in both 1969 and 1970. He was the first African-American high school principal in Fort Wayne, Indiana Community Schools in 1985. He was the first Indiana school superintendent to be selected Superintendent of the Year twice in 2002 and 2009. He was the national president of the American Association of School Administrators in 2006 and 2007. If you'll please direct your attention to the screen.
Eugene White was a versatile three-sport athlete at South Girard High School in Phoenix City in the mid-1960s. He was a center fielder in baseball, a two-year starter at quarterback in football, and co-captain his senior year. White was also a member of South Girard's 1966 state championship basketball team. That experience shifted his focus from football to basketball. Following his senior year, he accepted a basketball scholarship to Alabama A&M. There he proceeded to rewrite the record books on the hardwood. White was the leading scorer all 4 years at A&M. 3 seasons he was named the team's most valuable player, and 2 of his 4 years he led the Bulldogs in rebounding. By the time he graduated in 1970, he was the leading scorer in Alabama A&M history. White's achievements weren't just in athletics. He was class president his sophomore year and student government vice president his junior year. Twice he was named among the outstanding college athletes of America. White received his bachelor's degree in social studies and physical education from Alabama A&M in 1970, a Master of Science degree in school health education from the University of Tennessee in 1971, and an education specialist degree from Ball State in 1981, where he also received his doctorate in administration. White has committed his career to public service in education in the state of Indiana. He became Deputy Superintendent of Indianapolis Public Schools in 1992. 2 years later, he became Superintendent of the Metropolitan School District of Washington Township in Indianapolis. And in 2005, he returned to head up the Indianapolis Public School System as their superintendent, where he continues to serve today. He has twice been named the Indiana Superintendent of the Year. In 2006, he became the national president of the American Association of School Administrators. He was instrumental in helping the city of Indianapolis land the Super Bowl in 2012. In 2001, he was inducted into the Alabama A&M University Athletic Hall of Fame. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Eugene White.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2013 inductee, Eugene White. Take a look at the camera.
To Jim White, Chairman, members of the Selection Committee, I am losing my voice. I remember Jolie Dunn when he was quarterback in that Columbus High School. I was a little boy at the time. So I am truly honored this evening to be inducted to the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame, because I do understand that there have been tremendous athletes to come out of the Chattahoochee Valley. And so I am very, very honored and pleased to have this particular honor this evening. I want to say to you that as I stand before you, in essence, I'm standing on the shoulders of a lot of people who sacrificed to get me here. At the top of that list would be my mother, Elizabeth White Roseberry, who did everything a single 17-year-old mother at the time of my birth could do to make sure that my sister and I lived right and graduated from high school, and we both received college degrees. And she proved that it wasn't in the quantity of parents, it was in the quality of parenting. And we were very, very lucky to have her. We also could not be here this evening as it wasn't for me having the opportunity and the luck to select the right woman to marry. And there are those who said that she got the short end of the deal. But my wife of 42 years, Janice Austin White, has been the power behind everything I've done. And you know, I've had a lot of achievements. I've been a pioneer when it comes to breaking the color line. I can't tell you how much I've done in the state of Indiana, quite frankly, but none of that would have been possible without my wife being there to support, nurture, and mentor me. And I remember after I was installed as the national president of the American Association of School Administrators, which is the top group in the country for superintendents, and we were in Washington, D.C., and we had the installation. We were on the way out to dinner, and in the limousine, I turned and looked at her and said, "Baby, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that that little poor black boy from Phoenix City would end up being the president of all the superintendents in the country?" I said, "In your wildest dreams, did you think that could happen?" She looked at me, she paused, and she said, "I hate to tell you this, but you're not in my wildest dreams." She's always had the ability to pull me back down to earth. When I get the big head, she brings me back to earth. I am also here because of some outstanding people in my life in the community of Phoenix City, but I want to start by honoring her mother, Mrs. Ruth Austin, who has always been there for me, and I just love her for everything she's done. I lost my mother in 2000, but I really didn't lose the mothering kind of influence because Miss Ruth is always there. Also want to thank her father, Mr. Jimmy Austin Jr., he's here with his wife, Pat, tonight. And Mr. Jimmy was a tough man coming up, and most of the guys in the neighborhood was afraid to go to his house because they thought he would kill them about his daughter. And I was afraid, too, until I found out that he would listen to and read about football and basketball. And that was my way in. So I was just fortunate enough that he did not take it out on me. And Mr. Jimmy, thank you for giving me an opportunity to date and marry your daughter. I also want to say that I'm very fortunate to have two outstanding young people who happen to be my son and my daughter. My daughter, Kimberly Renee White, is here. She's a special education teacher in the Indianapolis Public Schools, and her heart is bigger than anyone I know. And teaching high school special education students demonstrates that she's taken after her mother, because she truly, truly gives a great deal to them. I want to also thank my son, who's a high school assistant principal, and his wife, Elizabeth. He, too, has taken the temperament and all of the talents from his mother, so he's very bright, and we're fortunate to have him there. To say thank you to all the members of my family, my sister-in-laws who are here this evening, brother-in-law, for all of your support over the years. I am very, very fortunate to stand before you and say thank you. Also, graduating in the class of 1966 from South Girard High School, I have to say that that high school is closed now, but the greatest class to come out of that high school was the class of 66, and that's not debatable. But I want to thank my classmates who are here this evening. Archie is here, Linda is here, General is here, Amos, Dorothy are here. Your special group of people, and it was a great class, not because we won the state championship, but because we were just a very good group of people. So we're proud of having you here to support your classmate this evening. As you know, as was stated, I played 3 sports in high school. That couldn't have happened without the strong support of teachers and coaches. I was so influenced by my teachers and coaches that I became a teacher and coach. And I intended to do that the rest of my career, but opportunity knocked, and I had to leave behind teaching after 5 years. But I will never forget the influence that Leo Harrison had as my head football coach. James Abram had as my baseball coach. My first basketball coach was Clifford Rutledge. I think he knew about more about radio than basketball, but he loved me anyway. But a coach that really had a tremendous influence on me was my high school basketball coach. We happened to win the state championship in Alabama. So Coach James Patrick is here, and I want to recognize him. He's been inducted into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. And Mr. Patrick, would you stand? I want to say, today we talk about children from single-parent families, and they need support. With men around like Mr. Patrick, we were not missing a father figure because you gave everything you could to us, and you were closer to our age, but for some reason, it meant a great deal, everything you said, and the success we enjoyed was kind of unparalleled. So, Mr. Patrick, I don't think any of my decisions about going to college would have been the same without you, because before you, I was going to go play quarterback at Florida A&M. So thank you for changing my mind. Speaking of quarterback in football, I have one of my best football players here from our football team. As a matter of fact, his name is Sylvester Crowell. We call him Crow. Sylvester was a tremendous defensive player, but from time to time he would talk to coaches and putting him on the field for offense. And he would never let me forget that one night against Spencer High School, and this is just the truth. I know Thurman Butler is here, and South Georgia beat Carver sometime in football, not that often, but we never beat Spencer until my senior year. In my senior year, we were leading 13-6, and everybody was going crazy. They kicked the ball off. We kicked the ball off to them. Somebody went 90 yards. The game was tied up. But Sylvester would never let me forget that we would have had another touchdown if I had only seen him out in the slot by himself. I keep on telling Sylvester that Claude English, who's also in the Hall of Fame, was 50 yards down the field, and to me, he was the candidate to get the ball. But Sylvester would never let me forget that. And so Sylvester, tonight, as a part of my honor, I want to tell you, if I had that play to do over again, I would have thrown the ball at Claude, but I love you. Also, I don't see any of my baseball teammates here tonight, but being around a great baseball coach kind of motivated me, and at A&M, I enjoyed my baseball years like high school. But tonight, I am honored to have two of my fellow basketball players from the state championship team here. My center, Otis Ray, would you stand, Otis? And my point guard, he moved a little faster than that in high school. My point guard is Amos Heron. Amos, would you stand? Amos and I went to Alabama A&M together to play basketball, and I got to tell you, Claude English was the best athlete on our basketball team, but Amos Heron was the best shooter that I've known, and it was an honor playing with Amos. I also would like to say this evening, I would be remiss if I didn't say that South Georgia was more than football, basketball, or baseball. We had a tremendous leader by the name of Lord A. Bowie. And Mr. Bowie was the motivating factor in my life. And ultimately, when I became a high school principal, I wanted to be just as good as Mr. Bowie. And he used to say we might not be the best school in the world, but we need to be the best school we know. And he just motivated us in tremendous ways. Last but surely not least, there are two other people. These two guys here. P.P. Spoon, stand, please. This is Willie Wright and Mr. Bellamy. They were our managers, and I want to tell you something about these two guys. Spoon thought he knew everything. P.P. knew he knew everything. But they are still taking care of us years later, so thank you guys for joining us this evening. And I'll just close with this statement. When you're a low boy, you always have to look up to someone. And And I would have to tell you, when you saw my football picture there, I had number 14 on. I would be remiss this evening if I didn't say that my hero coming up was a guy by the name of Pete Ingersoll that played for Mother Mary Mission, and he was a quarterback and baseball, basketball player. And so I emulated that guy, and so I couldn't take this honor without letting you know that he was also a great athlete from the Chattahoochee Valley. I want to thank all of you for this tremendous honor, and again, thank you guys for being here this evening. Thank you.
Congratulations, Eugene White and the White family as well. Just a thought or two, ladies and gentlemen, to leave with you as you depart. We believe after 18 years of existence, there's at least one graphic measure by which we distinguish the great men and women of the Chattahoochee Valley. We believe that to be the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. While it's physically located at the Civic Center, perhaps more importantly, it's located in our hearts. Within it are 87 individuals. Tonight, we added 5 more. We received them in large part because they were all visionaries of perfection. They acted nobly, they acted with purpose of mind and purpose of body. Whether we take them individually or collectively, I think we all agree that they've made a significant contribution to the quality of life in the Chattahoochee Valley. That said, would you please join me in standing and giving one more final round of applause for the class of 2013. Good night, everyone.